Well, this is a real treat today on the best show. You know, when it comes to wrestling, pro wrestling, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know. Well, let me introduce my guest first of all. That's before I go off on a soliloquy about how little I know about pro wrestling. I'm joined today by RJ City.
Correct.
Welcome to the best show, RJ City.
Thank you. And I also want to say, if it's okay, if it's not too forward of me, I would like to thank you for adding Mrs. Doubtfire to the worst movie characters of all, because I've been beating that drum solo for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that there's other people out there.
No, the army is growing of people who do not accept this guy entering. It should be a horror movie, but
It should be.
There is a cut. I think somebody did do a recutting of the trailer to make it look like a nightmare of a horror movie.
It's not hard to do. And I enjoy those Robin Williams characters where they're like, let's just find a small part where he could do his 5 quick voices.
Yes. Now look, you're talking about things. How would you describe what you do, RJ?
So, my thesis is you do know pro wrestling, you just do not know it yet.
Okay.
The best way I can describe it is a violent Muppet show.
Okay.
It's a show about putting on a show because nothing ever goes according to plan.
Sure.
Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Each character has their different thing that they want to do, and it's thrown into conflict, obviously, with other characters, but also within the confines of the show. So there's always a lot of going backstage. You're not supposed to be doing this. The referee says you can't do this. You know, it's the referee or the big boss character would be like the Kermit.
Sure. And I just got to say, well, first of all, you are a retired wrestler?
Not retired. I just got paid more to do other things in wrestling than not wrestling. Not that I won't.
So you're a smart wrestler.
Yeah.
That's what you are. Somebody started handing you money to not wrestle. I mean, are you a bad wrestler? They gave you money to not do wrestling?
Well, there's an argument that when I wrestle, I'm also not even wrestling.
Okay. Well, look, let's go. As the song says, we'll begin at the beginning.
At the beginning.
At the beginning. You see, look, you're very, because I was told, Tom, every one of these wrestlers, one's dumber than the next. I didn't say it. That's what I was told.
Not arguing with you.
Dumber than the next. They said it's like, you're lucky. It's like talking to a bag of rocks with half of these guys. But I said, no, this RJ guy's different. He likes Maude.
I love Maude.
And I was just like, bring him in.
And here I am, and we've begun the beginning.
Yes, we begin the beginning. Now you're saying, was that Cole Porter? We're making Cole Porter jokes with a wrestler. I'm making Cole Porter jokes. Somebody's going, actually, that was not Cole Porter. That was Rogers and Hart. I don't know. I don't care. Just like that thing, I don't know wrestling very well. Because you had Captain Lou Albano in the Cyndi Lauper videos.
Yes.
And that she was courting the whole wrestling thing at one point. She was a pioneer.
Yes, for the women in wrestling and for celebrities in wrestling. I think she kicked it off. Maybe more so than Mr. T.
Yeah.
You know, because she was cool at one point.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, when they knocked Richard Belzer unconscious, that was one. Did you ever see that clip?
I just watched the full episode.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the full episode?
No. I saw the clip and then the aftermath of the clip.
They come back and the producer's sitting in Belzer's chair and has the laugh and says, something has happened.
Yes.
And then they offer a really strange sort of non-apology and they blame it on how skinny Belzer was.
Yeah, it's not the chokehold we put him in.
No.
Because basically on the Richard Belzer, he was whatever talk show it was that he was hosting. Hulk Hogan was a guest and Mr. T was a guest that's like mid 80s, I'm sure, when wrestling was
right before WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
they did that and hosted Saturday Night Live in the same week.
Sure. Well, the writers must have loved that week. Just a lot of too Too many
pointing.
syllables in that word.
Yeah, no, I think there was clearly room where they're like, and you guys say your wrestling thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Let's go with cat instead of feline.
So do you think you have a bias against wrestling because they hurt Richard Belzer and you were a big Belzer guy as a child?
I think I was just scared of tough guys.
Right.
I was turned off by tough guys. Like, I was drawn more to the Elvis Costello would appeal to me more than like David Lee Roth,
right.
for example. And look, I love David Lee Roth not for singing. He's not a good singer, and I think we could scientifically prove these Van Halen records sound like he got a hold of the instrumental tracks and just started screaming over them.
But don't you feel like in wrestling, it's really a world of Elvis Costellos playing David Lee Roth?
Well, you can give me insight into that.
Yes.
Because I've always been drawn to, these are the things I do like about wrestling. I'll figure we'll say that. The things I do like about wrestling. I like when it's like, you listen here, Mean Gene, I'm coming to do the thing. Like, I like that.
Which is what, bluntness?
Whatever the talking, I like
promos.
The promos.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I like Hard Times with Dusty Rhodes when he's talking
like
about
a
hard
blue
times.
collar
Yes.
work ethic.
I just like when he's saying they work for 30 years and then they kick you in the fanny and throw you out with a watch. I'm talking about hard times, brother.
So you're against corporate.
I'm not a corporate show.
Sure.
I like when they do that stuff. I like Macho Man Randy Savage as a wrestler. I like because I've been saying this for a while. He's the first QAnon wrestler. The people.
There's been a lot of them since.
They waited for QAnon took 35 years to catch up to Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right.
That he was. Tell me you could not have pictured him storming the Capitol. You picture the footage, you see that cowboy hat, he's climbing over the wall.
neck strain, the big sunglasses, it's all coming together now. Very mean to his wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like walking around. He's like, I'm looking for Cory Booker's office. I'm trying to find
Has a brother who's everyone questions his sexuality and it makes him uncomfortable. They don't have the same last name. There's an estrangement.
You look here, Nancy Pelosi, I'm telling you. So I like the larger than life characters. Like
Right.
I like Roddy Piper. Like that's the ones I grew up liking those characters.
Yes.
Then suddenly there was a day where these wrestlers, because like Hulk Hogan, he looks like a giant hot dog.
Yes.
Basically, he has no muscle. Like he's got huge arms, but they look like they're water balloons.
Yes, he's
basically.
basted.
Yes, he's been lightly roasted, and he's at the 7-Eleven on the rotisserie.
You could describe him as succulent.
Yes, he's quite succulent. Then there was just a day where these guys were actually like jacked, and then I'm just like, well, this I don't can't handle this.
Because you felt insecure about your own body.
Probably.
Yeah, right.
I kind of feel like if I'm going to right this wrong and become a wrestler and try my hand at this, I only have a limited amount of time
Right.
to do it. Because I don't want to be like Rocky and these like Rocky 7 where it's just like they're just like you can't move and you can't do
Yes.
anything, but you can punch. Like, I don't want to be that.
All the great wrestlers just punched, though.
Yeah. Then okay. Is that true?
Yes. Hulk Hogan mainly did punching. Steve Austin, the more these guys got injured, the less they could do. And then the more accessible, the same way Sweet Home Alabama has 3 chords.
Okay.
It's
I see what
really
you're saying.
accessible.
So it's a simple sport.
Yes.
That is there are complexities to a very simple sport.
Yeah, it's a morality play. Steve Austin is a good example because he fought for the working man.
Sure.
And people wanted to punch their boss. They didn't want to put their boss in a hammerlock.
Yeah.
Right?
Last year, WrestleMania, I was over somebody's house watching, and it was, oh my God, it's the exciting return of Steve Austin. And I was just like, basically, he opened like 8 beers it took him 35 minutes to like drink 8 beers,
Mm-hmm.
and then he occasionally like bumped some other dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's not a very exciting return, but we're judging him against a different metric. I might be closer to him in this
Yes.
because he's up there. I need to figure out how to do. First of all, do I have to start with a character? Where do I start with this, RJ?
Do you not, and I don't mean to delve too deeply into your personal life,
Yeah.
but you are someone who has certainly found the appeal of an alias,
Yes, that's true.
right?
Yes.
So isn't that, and why did you choose that? And wasn't that freeing to you? I did a
Was.
little research,
Well,
right?
look at this. I was told you're crafty like this also.
Yes,
I
by
was
reading
told,
your biography.
This
that old
guy's
trick.
going to dig deep. Look out. He'll probably pull your tax returns out if you get on his wrong side.
Well, this is what informed my character and how I wrestle, which is basically like if Ethel Merman was a wrestler. Kevin Nash, the wonderful wrestler, actor,
Sure.
large person, said to me, what would you do if we were going to have a real street fight right now, legitimate one? And I said, he's 7 feet tall. I would obviously lose.
Yeah.
So I said, I'd probably act like I wasn't going to fight you, and then I would jump you from behind.
Gotcha. Okay.
That informed my character.
Okay.
As someone who wants to get this over with as quickly as possible.
And what by any means?
By any means, but the quickest, easiest means. Those are the ones that would work for me because I came here to sing.
If only people would get out of my way,
Yes.
I'd be able to do what I'm actually here for.
Only we could get rid of this wrestling thing.
Yeah.
We have a microphone and a spotlight, and these people would have a better time if I could give them what I want to give them.
Your whole thing is wrestling is an intrusion.
Yes. Wrestling, the fourth wall is including the audience.
Oh,
They're part of the show. It's almost like they're in kind of like a pioneer village, and they've agreed to participate.
All right. That makes perfect sense. And I guess when you think about from an audience standpoint, on some level, they have to understand that human bodies, for example, like Hulk Hogan would be laying out on the mat, like he gets up, like you hit him once, and then he's hurt. Then you hit him a second time, he's hurt more. But then you hit him a third time, then he's like, but that's not how the human body works. You don't eventually get to a point where you gain strength from more pain.
Yes.
To where you're just like, he's hurt even worse. Now look out, he's not even a little bit hurt.
Yes, past the point of no return.
Yes.
You shouldn't have hurt him so much because now he's not hurt anymore.
Now you woke him up. They understand that on some level that is not real, so it's a collective unreality.
It's a collective unreality. It gets very abstract, and this is where I think you're having a little roadblock here with the actual wrestling.
Okay.
I think you have to think of it in perhaps a Brechtian sense.
The master Brecht.
A little bit of an asshole, right? A little bit. He seems to be.
3-penny opera.
Yes, which B. Arthur was a fan of and wanted to sing a song of in the Star Wars Holiday Special, and they said no, and they wrote her a new one.
Okay.
So it all comes back.
They didn't want to pay that Brecht estate.
Right. And it's also Roland Barthes, if I may drop another B name that's going to be a theme, and begin the begin.
Sure.
It's all alliteration here.
Yes,
this
we're
episode.
really working through the B's today.
He said, if you hit me in a wrestling match, right, and I go, I'm not in pain. I am pain.
Well, that is maybe the deepest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's all symbolism.
I might not be smart enough for wrestling. I don't know what to say.
I know. Here you are, Mr. Clever Man.
I
and
know.
all of a sudden,
a wise guy. It's always the wise guys that they're the last ones to realize.
I know. But
that
I
they're
will
not
say
as
this.
wise as they thought they were.
I'm the smartest wrestler.
Okay.
So if you get through me, the rest is going to be a breeze.
Okay.
I assure you.
Now, you're sure being the smartest wrestler kind of like being the funniest newscaster? You know, like, Brian Williams is so funny.
Yeah,
a newscaster.
I'm really the Willard Scott of wrestling.
You're okay.
Yeah. So what do you like about yourself?
Not much. No, I I'm nice. I'm a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm modest. That's a joke.
I'm getting it. I'm
Nice
still
guy.
letting it breathe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes these things are like time release, like contact.
Sure.
It's like you
Or those
take it-
toys you used to put in the bath and the capsules would open. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They turn into a little sponge dinosaur. I need to. These are the attributes I think I bring to the table. A wise guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a little lippy sometimes. I do have a solid moral compass, but I also have a cowardly streak a mile long.
Creatively, when you're putting together a show or some sort of material, do you like to figure it out on the fly, or do you like to map it all out ahead of time?
I like to get the big pieces down and then let things go where they go.
Okay, so you are a little more like a Roddy Piper or a Randy Savage as opposed to a Bobby the Brain who has a master
Sure.
plan.
Now, when you say I'm more like Roddy Piper and Randy Savage, is that you mean I'm a cocaine addict?
I mean, I don't know, maybe a little bit,
Okay.
but there was
Because,
also
look,
beyond the cocaine.
You
There was
know
a
that
tremendous-
moment when he's like, I'll tell you, when it's Macho Man
Yes.
and Hulk Hogan, he's like, we're going to the stratosphere, we're going to the ionosphere. I'm telling you, nobody knows where we're going, brother. And it's just like, I know where you're going is to go get more cocaine because you did all of it.
Yeah, but in a way
Allegedly, I don't want to
Yes.
have him do Gawker to me.
that, but I also
This place
wrestlers.
will be owned by Hulk Hogan.
There's so many other weird things that they do that I don't think you in your layman's sense are taking account for.
Okay.
Taking niacin, for example,
Sure.
which gives them that red skin.
Sure,
I feel like
okay.
that.
Oh, so you just think he maybe had a little too much niacin before that?
Well, there was always a redness, an
Sure,
unusual
yes.
redness.
Yeah.
They're always tense.
Yeah,
they're
that's
always
called,
flexing.
That's the constricting of the heart, not letting the blood flow properly.
Yes. And there's also, pre-workout supplements from the 80s. God knows what those were.
Yes, workout supplements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you a nice tingle and a whole thing.
Yeah. It's just it's not a mistake a lot of these wrestlers lived in Miami, is it? Is
No.
that like that seems coincidental.
Yeah. It's a good place for the bloating and the
Inordinate
redness.
amount of them chose Miami to be the same reason like the Bee Gees were like, hey, I think we're going to record our albums in Miami. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Miami, you say?
And the Bee Gees had that beard, that wrestler,
Yes.
that Randy Savage kind of beard.
They had, yes, I think they could have been pals down there, maybe.
Yes. I will say, if we may dissect you physically,
Of course.
you you have an odd shape.
Thank
And
you.
I mean that in a good, useful way.
Oh, how could it not be good to say I have an odd shape?
An odd shape is that you have a length to you,
Yes.
but there is it's not a
an
waifishness.
odd shape.
There's a waifishness. There's a little bit of everything going on here.
That's even worse. It's
Right,
getting worse.
that's not
now.
ba-
A little bit of everything.
You're
going on.
not someone like Tugboat or Earthquake who's
Sure,
like, I'm 500
I got
pounds.
I see. I see what you're saying. It's a little hard to get a read on what the deal is.
Exactly.
Fine, I'll take my clothes off. No,
But you do. You have long limbs.
got long limbs.
That's something you could work with, strength
solid
wise.
torso.
You have how is your wind?
I do all right.
In what?
I do all right, and I can run a few miles on the treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
I like to walk.
Yes.
I like respiratory cardio based exercise.
So maybe you're a little.
I'm not gonna be lifting weights.
You're not a tense guy.
No, I'm not.
Right. So maybe you're a little more fluid. You're a little more
yeah.
loose. Maybe you escape the hold.
Sure, because the gym I go to, it has big ball that you throw around.
Yes.
Has the belt that goes that.
And
Has
this
a
gym is
box.
from the 1940s.
Box I go in. The steam box.
This is the gym that Jerry Lewis went to in The Nutty Professor.
This
It's
is
that-
the-
it's Vic
the same
Tanny's gym.
It's
Yes.
the same gym.
That's very
yes.
invigorating.
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
So, so you're saying I could kind of use this underdefinable body type
Yes.
where I've got size, but I'm not just automatically like, oh, he's huge and it's top to bottom huge. That's going to be my thing.
Yes.
But I could use it to be like kind of crafty.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Long limbs are hard to get a hold of. You have a
Okay.
good reach.
Thank you.
There's a lot of guys. The best part about wrestling is that not only can you lie about your name, you can lie about your height and your weight. Too,
Sure. Okay.
which is excellent.
Yeah. Now, here's one thing I'm thinking about. I would watch these matches and they'd be like, okay, from Yonkers, here comes like Doug DeCordova,
Yes.
right? And he comes out and it's like there's a guy, playing a penny whistle when he comes out. And then suddenly it's like the lights go down. Oh, lights fine. From parts unknown. Like anybody from parts unknown, you might as well just leave.
Right.
If you're going to wrestle a guy from parts unknown,
Yes.
you're going to lose.
There would be different, as a kid, there would be different wrestlers from parts unknown. And I thought they were all from the same place.
Yeah, parts unknown.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, does anybody beat parts unknown?
Yeah. What I love is from parts unknown, weighing in at 325 pounds. Okay, so you couldn't get his hometown, but you got him on the scale for a good 5 seconds.
Yeah. Come on, you just slide over a little bit more. Okay, we'll move the boot.
Can you take your shoes off, Papa Shango?
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
He's just from parts unknown now. What was your record, by the way? Do you know your record?
My record?
Like, are you good? Do you win a lot? Do you
It was
lose
a
a lot?
guy every show. If you wanted to run a wrestling
But you
show,
could keep your record. You know your record.
but it's a guy.
How many times did you win?
How many times? It doesn't matter.
Oh, no,
To me,
but-
somebody told me
Okay.
that I'm winning and I'm losing.
Okay.
I did okay. My theory is this though.
Okay.
You cannot be worried about the winning and the losing, especially for me. If I was a giant, then maybe I would be focused on winning.
Sure.
But as a character, as someone who wants to make a connection with the audience, you have to be able to survive the loss.
Okay.
Because you hit one loss and then it's all over.
Yeah.
That's why I would say Rocky lost in the beginning.
Yes.
Right? He started with a loss. If he was on this hot win streak, the second he
exactly.
lost, the party would be over.
Exactly. He just wanted to go the distance.
Exactly.
Yes. So what if I'm kind of like trying to think so if I'm kind of weaselly, squirmy. Should we embrace the fact that I'm no spring chicken? Should that be embraced?
Absolutely, because that gives you
Pops?
another
Maybe
edge.
my name be Pops.
Yes. Do you want to be booed? Are you interested in being booed, or have you been booed enough in your life?
What do you think?
It can go either way. If you're controlling the boo, suddenly it doesn't feel so bad. It's like a nice sexual fetish. I don't mind the pain as long as I'm in control of it.
Maybe I don't want to be hated. I want to be misunderstood.
Okay. So
I want to be like
confuse people.
misunderstood. I want people to be just like, I don't know what that guy's going for. Almost like a question mark.
You don't want to put a hat on a hat here. And I
No.
think sometimes that's the
Sondheim.
mistake.
It's dropping Sondheim references.
Does anyone still wear a hat?
They don't wear hats
That's
anymore.
from the Ladies Who Lunch.
Look at this. This is unbelievable.
He didn't even get that one. Is
No,
there
it's
anyone
going
else
over
we
my
can
head.
talk to?
Sunday in the Park with George. Is that what we're doing now?
What about that? What if that's your name? What if you're George?
Yeah.
And you're a guy who's in the park, and you're staring at the end of your life, and you get so upset that you come into the ring. You come from the park to the ring, and there you are. You're reading your newspaper. You
Yeah.
tuck it under your arm and say,
Okay.
"I'm going to go kick the shit out of these young kids."
right, I like
because
this.
I'm afraid of my own death. Not that you
like
have
this.
to say that.
But what about we do this? What if we say I'm dying and I don't care anymore?
Yes.
Seriously, what about that? What
Okay.
if I'm called? What if it's called like almost like it's like I have 6 months to live. My character has 6 months to live. I'm just a normal person who decided
Yes.
I found out I have 6 months to live and I want to be a wrestler.
Yes.
That feels like a hook because then people would be like cheering for me. Go, go. But then what if I'm like, I'll just do anything to win. Then they would be confused because they're just like, we know he's going to croak
Right.
6 months from now, but maybe he shouldn't have pulled that taser out during the match.
May he
we
die
didn't love that.
earlier.
We didn't love that.
Yes.
Like that would create that moral ambiguity.
Which would
Not
be
unlike
too
Les
much.
Mis.
Not unlike Les Mis at all.
Yes. I think that's the angle. 6 months to he's got 1 year to live.
Yes.
They say, and we even can have a doctor backstage checking and just being like,
Yes.
yep, you still got 1 year to live.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
like
thing.
the bell rings and you look at your watch.
I look at that calendar.
And then,
just like,
yes.
1 year.
Yes. That would be your entrance video, would be the calendar pages ripping
Tear
off.
the calendar page,
Yeah.
yes.
And maybe it would be like a
This-
60 minutes would be your music, just the clock ticking.
Well, this feels right. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Good. My wrestling sensei. It's my consigliere.
Do we have a name for that?
For my character?
Yeah.
Let's
End of the
figure that
line.
out.
Last stop. Last
what if it's
Stop
called,
Pops.
What if it's called Last Stop, like Last Stop Jones or something like?
May I tie it all together with my obscure pop culture?
Please, I'm begging you to.
Last Stop Willoughby.
I don't get what that is. What is it?
A wonderful Twilight Zone episode.
Okay.
A guy comes home on the train. He hates his life. He falls asleep on the train. He wakes up in this 1920s town.
Okay.
And it happens a bunch. And he's like, I got to get off in this town called Willoughby. And it turns
Okay.
out he just jumped off the train and killed himself.
Last Stop Willoughby. Yeah, that works. My name's Last Stop Willoughby. Doctors told me I had 1 year to live. The dream from my childhood, now we're fudging a little bit, was to be a pro wrestler. And I only have a year to go, so I'm going for my dream.
Why didn't you do this sooner?
Because life got in the way. Like I'm going to be dead soon, but you're going to lose now. I'm going to be dead a year from now, but you're going to lose today.
Okay.
That's a little too wordy.
Yeah.
So you hit me over the head with a chair while I'm saying it.
Yeah, let's cut down on
What's
the
that
words
feel
here.
like to get hit by a chair?
It stings. If you get hit in the back, it really stings. It's surprising how much it stings. You thought it was just
Really?
going to be like, I don't know, getting tackled in football or something. But it's really unpleasant.
Yeah.
And wrestling as an industry has not adopted movie props, quite frankly.
No, they're just saying like, yeah, we got chairs.
Yeah, we'll just go to, the Home Depot, that thing, and we'll take care of it.
At the rec center, the guy's just like, yeah, the church basement. I'll bring some chairs over from there.
For something that is fake, it could be a lot more fake.
That's a profound way of saying it. What's it like to hit someone with a chair?
I feel bad
Okay.
unless they're like, bring it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
'Cause
fine.
the thing is, you have kind eyes.
Thank you.
You're a nice guy.
I have a Gina Gershon-like thing to me.
No, I didn't say it.
I
You
do,
did,
though.
but-
It's subjective.
Okay. What if it's like this also? I lived a small life. What if that's a part of my thing? I lived a small
Well, you're
life.
wrestling.
Well, that's fair. But what if I worked in an office? Like we just make me
Okay.
I just lived I didn't live I wasn't true to myself. I wasn't living my biggest life. I lived a
You
small.
middled.
I've got 1 year. I'm going to live the biggest life I can. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be a wrestler. So look out. Here comes Last Stop Willoughby. Woot, woot.
That was Tugboat. Had the whoo, and there may cause some confusion.
Okay, that's
especially
true.
for the
I'm not
fans.
gonna do that then.
Yeah, maybe you could chugga.
Maybe.
Or you pull out the stopwatch, the pocket watch.
Yeah.
Last stop.
This was a total treat.
Did it work for you? Have
You
I
are
opened your eyes?
amazing. You are. I'm going to say this. I went into this suspicious because I was going to say, because I was told, no, he's smart. He's good. I was saying, for a wrestler, this guy's going to be a little slow on the uptake. But then you're here. You're lightening up. You're throwing out these Sondheim things. You're throwing out Begin the Begin.
And we finished it.
Truly impressed. Tell everybody where you do your talk show.
Yes. The company is AEW.
Your show's called Yay.
The show is Hey EW.
Hey, EW.
Yes. And I greet the wrestlers Sunday
Yes.
mornings at the crack of dawn. Because I
Okay.
guess wrestlers are good at farming too, so they know
Sure.
when that is.
Yes.
On youtube.com/AW. And it's me talking to wrestlers. Not as intellectual as this.
Oh, what could be?
I send the same messages. I just don't know if they're received as well.
No, it's very funny. It's very entertaining, and
you.
you're hilarious.
I do have to tell you something.
What's that?
They always say if you have to get a dream guest on Hey W, who would
Yeah,
it be? And I want to be outside the box.
Yeah.
Let's break the wrestling
Who are
barrier.
you looking looking for?
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
I'll put in the request.
It means the world to me.
And where do you do the show out of generally? Wherever.
Everywhere, wherever they
Everywhere
go.
you need to be.
Yeah.
I will put in the request. I'm not joking.
I would
will
love
text
to have him. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it could have said me, but
We did this, though. I illuminated.
no, it's fair. It's fair.
We
But
begun
usually
the
when you go, look, I got a dream guest for my show. It's not you. It's somebody that you do know, though. How about hooking me up?
What am I going to say? You? We're going to do this
No,
reciprocal,
kidding.
this
I'm
tit for
kidding.
tat?
I'm kidding.
I'll tell you who I would entertain, though.
Who's that?
Last Stop Willoughby.
And coming up next, I'm going to go to wrestling finishing school with some AEW superstars.
Good luck with the rest. It only gets
Thank
worse
you.
from here.
Last Stop Willoughby. Here we come.